Hi, everyone. Welcome to This Academic Life. I'm Lucy Zhang, and today I am going solo, and I will be talking about something deceptively simple, which is taking a day off. It's not a sabbatical, not a conference break, just simply a day, a regular, unscheduled day where you choose to stop working. And I want to start with something that's more personal. Lately, I've been carrying a lot of anxiety, and perhaps you too, between everything that's happening politically, higher education and science, and the steady pressure of our work, deadlines, mentoring, teaching, emails that never stop. And right now, we're also facing the end of the semester, having the grades turn in, and everything needs to be done. I hit a point where it all felt overwhelming. So I decided to take a day off. I moved all my meetings for that day and replied to everything that I ignore and try to convince myself that I could afford a break. So eventually, I drove about an hour and a half away to a quiet, pretty remote place. I brought a book with me, no computer, and I brought my phone. But honestly, once I got there, the first part of my day, mentally, I couldn't really settle. It took a good 2 hours for my mind to eventually settle down. I felt guilty for all the things that I wasn't doing. Eventually, I told myself, this is it. It's almost noontime by the time I felt like I really need to have my mind settling down. It wasn't until after lunch that day that I finally let myself to stop. Stop holding my phone, stop checking emails, stop replying to emails. I breathed, I sat still, and I started reading. I stopped checking everything, just focus my time on the reading. And after a few hours of that, I felt wonderful. I felt great. And with the drive coming back home, I came back feeling much lighter and calmer. I felt it was not time that's wasted. Having a day off afterwards made me think why it's so hard to take time off. Let's all be honest, academia makes it hard to take a break. Even though we technically have all the flexibility and we have flexible schedule, there's this underlying expectation that we should always be doing something productive. There's always a paper that needs a revision. There is always a grant that we should be writing. And there's always emails, meetings, students, class prep. The list doesn't end. And because of that, we sometimes feel like we have to earn our rest, like it's a reward, not a right. And if you are someone who takes pride in your work, that feeling gets tangled up with identity. So stepping away for a day can feel so wrong, like a student skipping a day of school. But here's really the truth. Taking time off doesn't mean you're less committed. It only means that you're human. I've even had colleagues who pride themselves being busy. But being busy does not mean you're actually being productive. It might serve the contrary because we all need a break. And if you don't, it can lead to burnout. So now let's talk about what a real day off can look like. For me, it's not elaborate. For this trip that I've just mentioned, I simply brought a book. I could have gone to a coffee shop just to change the environment. I could have also done it at home, but I didn't want to be home. And in fact, it doesn't even have to be a whole day. It can be an afternoon. It can be an hour. It can be half an hour. You could also take a simple walk without a phone. So none of that really needs to be so well planned. I know many of us are all planners. We need to have our entire calendar filled with things. If that's the case, fill in a half an hour or an hour each day just to do nothing. In fact, you could use that time to read, relaxing, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, journaling, or just reflect. Use that hour to sit still, log out of all your emails. And that last part is really the key because social interactions can be quite addictive. It's not a break. It's not really a break if you're still mentally tethered to your inbox or calendar. Again, like I said, if a whole day feels like too much, start something small. Maybe take the morning off or take an hour in the morning. Take your lunch away from your desk. Rest isn't all or nothing. It's a practice. As you practice, as you do it more and more, you will get the hang of it. In my case, it took me half of my time to really feel settled. But I'm sure if I do it more and more, I will get the hang of it. It'll take less for me to settle down. Let's talk about logistics. I know part of the resistance is practical. Here is what helped me. Well, like I said, I put it on my calendar ahead of time, just like any other appointment. I moved all my meetings to other days or just simply canceled them. I let my students know that I'll be offline. And I remind myself that the world won't fall apart if I step away for a day. And you know that too. We all think that our work is important. But to be all honesty, without us, the world is still gonna run. We might not be as important as we think we are. Sometimes I even block a few low effort days into my semester, quiet Fridays or midweek resets. I don't always use them, but knowing that they're there really helps. And I also try to protect my time. And when people say, you want to really draw the boundary between your life and work, now how do you draw that boundary is really up to you because a lot of that is dependent on how you protect that time. So there's one thing that I'm currently practicing, which is to block one afternoon off every other week. I know it's difficult during the school year. So as the semester is winding, I told myself that I need to relax a little bit. I need to let my mind sit still a little bit. I need a little bit more time to reflect. I need a little bit more time to really enjoy doing nothing. I know that's very difficult, but I'm trying. And I think you should too, because everybody needs that. And you've worked all this time to be the best version of you. We're now machines. Eventually, it'll catch up to us, either mentally or physically. There's a book written by Celeste Hadley. The book title is Do Nothing. she offers some practical and research-backed guidance for stepping back. And one important thing that's valuable to all of us and to everybody in this society is that productivity isn't the same as fulfillment. Rest isn't laziness. She offered that we need to set our boundaries. We need to redefine success. We need to prioritize leisure and relationships. We need to stop multitasking, and we need to be present. And all of these are easy to say, and we probably heard that many, many times before. But in reality, if you really want to live a more balanced and intentional life, you have to practice them. And you will get better and better. You will come out with more thoughtfulness and more grounded and more human. We should also realize that technology amplifies busyness. Constant connectivity through smartphones and emails has blurred the lines between work and personal life. And it increases stress without even us knowing. So setting boundaries with technology by limiting screen time, turning off notification, or just simply being mindful of its impact on your time and focus is a very important thing. And other things that when we talk about success, what does it mean by success to each one of us? It's probably different. As I'm getting older, hopefully also wiser, success to me is so much beyond the worldly views. And it's so much beyond productivity. Again, I don't think it's easy to do, but you want to define success on your own terms, based on what brings you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Rushing through life really prevents us from appreciating the present moment and enjoying the little things along the way. Practice mindfulness by slowing down, savoring experiences, and focusing on what truly matters. And I believe that. And I think we should all embrace it and practice it. The last thing I want to talk about is reframing the narrative. I think we need to reframe the whole idea of taking a day off. It's not shirking, it's not failing, it's not maintenance. And it's how we last in this profession. I know many universities now give students a mental health day. And guess what? Faculty needs it too. Everybody needs a time just to simply be still. We take care of our students. We support our colleagues. We mentor. We advise. We write. We edit. We organize. But we're not machines. And if we want to keep showing up with clarity and energy and with heart, we need to rest. A day off can be resistance. It can be self-trust. It can be the exact reset you didn't even realize that you needed. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Take the day. No guilt, no explanation, just time to be a person outside the email, outside the deadline, outside the noise. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. I hope sometime soon, maybe even today, you give yourself the gift of a real break. This is This Academic Life. I'll see you next time.